Charlie Kirk gets assassinated, and then people got all the they got all the conspiracies going out. Guess what? Maybe I get it. The text messages were kind of kooky. That's not how really a young guy talks. But guess what? Maybe it's how a young guy that gets in a furry costume and bangs a guy in the butt. Maybe that's how he talks. All right. Maybe that's how a guy that gets on a roof of a college and shoots and murders an innocent man for just saying words in public, and trying to talk to other young people in public and try to find a middle ground. Maybe a guy that gets on a roof and shoots bullets over college students and kills, murders a man in public in front of all these thousands of people in front of him. Maybe that's how a guy like that talks. I don't know. I mean, yeah, there's definitely conspiracy theories. I don't know if it's for the Charlie Kirk. Maybe, and again, I'm just commenting on what my eyes see. And a lot of times when I say things, I'm not really thinking it out very long. I mean, I see it and I get my little math problems on my thoughts and I go, this is what I think. I'll tell you what, some of the weirdest stuff right now going on the internet is, and again, I'm not trying to be one of those guys, but this is the most anti-Jewish people stuff I've seen on the internet ever. And the reason why I bring that up with Charlie Kirk, as soon as Charlie Kirk gets assassinated, they start pointing the finger at Israel and Netanyahu and stuff and saying, well, he's going on podcasts saying, I didn't do it, and who would do that? I don't know. Maybe if the whole internet's trying to blame a country and a country's leader and their intelligence, department on a murder that's, went around the world. I don't know. Maybe they would say that, hey, look, it's not us. I get it why you guys are saying that. But right now, this is the most anti-Jewish that I've ever, and I get it. You could say that they committed a genocide. I don't know what they did over there. I really don't know. I've seen few pictures. I've seen very little video. Call me insensitive, but look, I don't want nobody at war. I don't want nobody getting murdered in war. I don't like the Ukraine-Russia thing. Any war you can point to, I go, yeah, I don't like that. I don't like people murdering people over, I get it. I get it. It has to happen, I guess. I don't think it has to happen, but it seems to happen. But right now, this is the most anti-Jewish talk in my lifetime that I've ever heard. And me, I grew up in Ohio, and now I'm in Chicagoland for a lot of my life now, and made a life here. And I didn't grow up around Jewish people, so all the Jewish stuff, I never got it. I understand the humor in it. I understand like the stereotypes, not growing up around and not being around Jewish people, but it never was my thing. It's just like black jokes when it's really negative, like I grew up around black people. I had more of a positive experience with black people. Not saying I didn't have any negatives, and I'm not saying I don't see the negatives, but it never was my thing. I didn't never like the nasty words towards black people. Same thing with Jewish people. I don't like the nasty words towards Jewish people. I'm kind of a what up you type of person, and I kind of judge people, whether people believe it or not, on the individuals. Like if you're an asshole and I don't really vibe with you, I got no problems with you. Just I stay away. And if you come with me in negativity, guess what? On the individual basis, then I'm going to have some words for you that probably aren't that kind. But I don't go towards those stereotypical words that are like nasty words. That's not really my thing. Even people with like the N word, I never have liked the N word. I mean, not to say that just because that's what you're supposed to say. I just don't like it because, first of all, it's nasty, and I know you're trying to hurt their feelings. I get it. You're trying to get an emotion out of them because they don't. It's a terrible word, and also, you know what? It proves their point when people go, "There's racists out there," and you go, "Where?" And you go, "Oh, it's the one right over there saying the N word at the black people." that's the one. And they go, "Yeah, but he didn't mean it," whatever, and all the excuses. It goes, "Yeah, but you're just giving them a good excuse to say, see, I told you there's racists. I told you there's people that call us that nasty word, and we don't like it." And so that's why I've also not liked that word also, where it goes, "You're just proving their point, you idiot." But with the whole Jewish thing, I don't know if it's anti-Jew because of, obviously, people think that they've created a genocide, which I don't really know much about it. I hear what you hear, and I've seen what maybe you've seen, and I'm sure many have seen more. And again, yeah, I don't think it's great. But again, I don't know the whole story. I really don't. I think most people out there with the whole Palestine Israel thing, I don't think they know the whole story either. I think it's tribal. I think it's very tribal. I think you get on one side of thought and you get on, I think it's one of those things. But I bet if you were living there, you would learn a lot more before this all happened and after this all happened. You might have a different an opinion on it. Not saying that that's true or not, but I bet you would. But dude, this is the most anti-Jew stuff I've ever heard. And then also this slide on over to the black people. This is the most N-words that I've ever heard on the internet, ever. And again, I don't like it. I don't like hearing that. I don't think that's fair. I don't think it's nice. I don't think it's appropriate, and I don't think we should be doing it. I don't think it's bringing people together. And I just think we, as a people, we should be doing better with all races. Again, now if you're a fucking creep and you're a piece of shit, don't be surprised you're a creep and piece of shit, and don't be hiding behind that fucking race card because you're a creep and piece of shit. And when you are a creep and a piece of shit, and just because you have the same color of that person and you're defending it, you got to do better, dog. You know what I'm saying? If there's white people out there doing terrible and I'm a white guy and I'm just defending them because they're white, that's a bad move, man. That's not really critical thinking. You're doing tribalism stuff. And same thing with black people. If there's black dudes and black chicks out there doing terrible stuff, it's okay for you to call them out, and you're not betraying your race because you're calling them out. You're calling out terrible behavior, okay, and unacceptable behavior. And I think if more people would do that, we wouldn't put people together so much. If the whites would just call, you got to call balls and strikes. That's it. That's all you have to do is call balls and strikes. I don't think that's unfair to do that. And also to, I get it. Humans are terrible to each other. I mean, it's just a thing. That's why it's so stupid for even people nowadays to point back to 100 years ago, 50 years ago, 200 years ago, 400 years ago, and you point to people that were doing horrible things. It's like, hello, why don't you grow up? Humans have been doing horrible things to humans forever. Okay? So you're surprised that somebody were doing horrible things to humans 400 years ago when there weren't cameras, there weren't really the laws put in place in lands. There wasn't the thinking that we have currently that we've moved on to now, and we work. A lot of the ideas that we have now, it's because we've looked through history of things we've done and we realized we tried it that way. That's a terrible idea. We tried it this way. That's a terrible idea. We tried it this way. It wasn't that bad of an idea, but we can do better. We tried it this way. It was not great, but it was not bad, but we could definitely do better. That's how we've gotten to here because of the history that we've walked through to now. But I feel like I can't believe that I got to make a grown-up idea like that. But these people can't come to that, but they have to constantly point at, things that people have done in the past. And again, to think that people aren't going to make expert, make terrible moves now, they're still going to make terrible moves now. Okay? Humans are still continuing to be worse to humans. I think it's probably better than it's ever been. Towards each other right now, whether people want to admit that or not. I truly do. Whether you think that's true or not, that's up to you. You use your own brains. But you're thinking in history right now that there was a time in history that we treated, because we're a global nation now. I mean, a global world. Dude, there was a time where there was people that walked through life and they never seen a Japanese person in person. They never seen like any African from any of the 54 African countries. Never seen an African ever. Never, there's people that never seen a, Hispanic person, ever. I know this is like duh stuff, but yeah, this is the most I've heard where, and again, I get it. I'm a free speech person. But again, I just don't think it's helping. I don't think it's helping. I don't think it's gonna, it's doing us good to be saying nasty things about, this and that and this and that. Is there a time and place for it? Maybe some would say there is a time or place for it. I guess when you're ready to fight. I guess if you want to get an emotion out of your opponent, Good luck with that. It's going to get nasty. I wouldn't recommend it. But yeah, it's in my whole life, man. This is the most I've heard nasty words like this before. And, it makes sense, though. Like when people are dropping N-words, whether you like hearing this or not, in the last so many years of people pointing their finger at like white people and saying white this, white that, white privilege and check yourself and all that stuff. I told my Mexican wife years ago, and not in a way where I'm like, this is good, but I told her probably, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years ago, where I go, they're pushing people. And if this keeps up, eventually you're going to have somebody extreme push back. And then that's where you get extreme people where they're saying extreme words. And they're basically saying, get off my toes and get back. And if you don't like it, come bring force. And that's what I think we're starting to see. And it's because we went so far on one way, and they're not even stopping. The people that were going, the liberals and the people that think like that, and the liberal educated people, how they're going so far with stay in your place and check yourself and privilege and safe space type people and the pronoun people. I think you pushed a lot of good people. And somebody that just, most Americans, they just want to get back to where they go, liberals go, oh, you just want a 1950s America. You want a 1950s racist America, a 1900 racist America. No, I think most people that are in America that are pushing back on some of these ideas, they go, no, we just really want like 1997 back. You know what I'm saying? We just want like 2000 back. When it seemed like more people were getting along with each other, whether it was, they didn't mind, skin color wasn't like a thing, and people were getting along. We were all appreciating each other's music and movies and art, and it kind of wasn't a thing. And then somehow, I don't know if it's the internet coming around or Barack Obama getting in the office, and I just think it was a combination of many things. It was Barack Obama, which I voted for, so pump your brakes. I didn't vote for him the second time. I voted for Barack Obama. I was so happy when Barack Obama got in. I went to the gas station the next day and I bought 2 Chicago Times. They're in a tote over there. I'm in my basement right now. They're in a tote right now. Still in plastic. And I went the next day Barack Obama got elected the first time. I went straight to a gas station early that morning and I bought 2 Chicago Times. I think it was Chicago Times or Chicago Tribune. And I saved them, and I was like, I'm going to frame this, and I'm going to frame a couple of them, and I'm going to keep one. And at the time I had a son. I was like, I'm going to give it to my son. Now I got 2 sons, and I go, I'm going to frame these. And then I see Barack Obama, at a short amount of time, he starts doing his world tour, and he starts apologizing to the world for what we've done in like World War II and stuff, whatever that is. People that know what I'm talking about, they know what I'm talking about. I'm not the deepest scholar on Barack Obama, but when he was doing that, I noticed that he was apologizing for like World War II and bombing Japan or something like that. And I remember thinking, you're apologizing to the people that they teamed up with the Nazis? You're apologizing? These guys teamed up with the Nazis. That was like, hey, homie, with the Nazis. And you're over there apologizing, you fucking Marxist dipshit. And then once I seen that and then a bunch of other moves, and I go, no, I'm done with this dude. You ain't getting my vote the next time. Whether I like the next guy at all, I wasn't voting for you. And your hope and change that Barack Obama was preaching, that was all bullshit. That's all like happy, it's going to be different because I got a skin color thing and stuff going on that you're going to enjoy. And guess what? It was the same old stuff. And whether you think this guy right now is doing the same old stuff, a lot of it is the same old stuff, whether you like it or not. If it's your guy, you like it more. And if it's not your guy, you don't like it more. But yeah, this is the most on the internet I've heard anybody saying negative stuff about the Jews, negative stuff about the blacks, definitely negative stuff about the whites. There's a lot of these EBT women. I tell you what, man, when the government held up on that EBT stuff, and you see all these, a lot of fat white women, a lot of fat black women too. I'm gonna get my cookies. And if anybody working at Walmart, you better get the F out of the way. You know what I'm saying? All those ladies and stuff. My God, I've never seen so many fat ladies mad because they're not getting their food stamps. And then, dude, that's another thing. They'll throw it in your face. Like I just seen a video the other day that a woman had $2,300 on her EBT card, 2,300 and some change, where she's just doing it, where she's showing it, and then they do it and they start laughing. Where it's like, dude, could you imagine it? All of us, if all of us got $500 a month extra for food, how much of a benefit would that be? If Americans just had, $500 a month and, for food, it'd be great, but we don't. But you know who gets it? People that don't work, people that abuse the system, people that keep having kids by guys they don't want to marry and they don't want to stay with. Those are the ones that get all the money. And I get it. I sound like a demon, right? To you, that's probably listening to this, somebody out there. Listen, I get it. There's people out there that need food stamps. There's old people, there's disabled people, there's young people that had a kid and the dad ran off like a piece of shit. And I get it. There's people like that. And a few other examples that people need it. Look, man, short term is what it's used for most. Not elderly, not disabled. Somebody that got in a bad accident and maybe it's going to take a few years to get them back on their feet, possibly. I get that. And a few other examples. But most people out there, if you're young, you could be working. Okay, you don't need EBT. Okay, most people out there, you could probably, that are young and a certain age, you could probably go out there and work for your own. Okay, and I'm not a piece of shit because I want you to go out there and work and take care of your own life. Okay, so I don't need you on the internet calling people like me saying I'm a bad guy. I'm a bad guy. First of all, if you're out there saying on the internet that I'm a piece of shit because I didn't want EBT money to people to get EBT money, and you're out there preaching on the internet and you've had an abortion, you're a piece of shit. Don't talk to me about I'm not supporting EBT. All the abortion people out there that had abortions and they're out there pointing the finger at people, all the people that have had abortions that are saying you voted for this guy and you're a piece of shit. No, you're a piece of shit. You had an abortion. You killed a kid. Okay, you killed your kid. Actually, you would have been a terrible mother anyways, because your first idea when you got pregnant was to kill your kid. So if you're on the internet saying if you're on the internet and you had an abortion, you said that you voted for this guy and you're a piece of shit. No, you're a piece of shit. If you're on the internet saying that I'm vegan, but I had an abortion and you're a piece of shit. No, you're a piece of shit. You killed your kid. Okay. If you're on the internet and you've had an abortion and you're saying that I'm a racist because of something else that I've said on the internet and it's not really racism, but you're just putting me in that category. You had an abortion. You killed your own kid. You're a piece of shit, lady. Okay. You're the piece of shit. You out there had an abortion. You killed somebody. I'm so sick of these fucking people. Now I've finally gotten warmed up after this. I'm over here saying the F word and stuff. I go, fuck this. Yeah. All these abortion ladies out there that have 1, 2, 3 abortions, and you're out there pointing a finger. Fuck you. Okay. You killed your kid or kids. All right. And plus, I'm kind of glad these women out there had abortions, because if your first thought when you get pregnant is to possibly kill your kid or go to a place and kill your kid, you are going to be a terrible mother anyways. Okay. That's how I know you should have done what you did, because you thought to kill your kid. And I go, oh, well, it's just being responsible. I'm weighing out my thoughts. I'm weighing out my decisions. I was in college. I was getting a liberal arts degree in college, and I didn't want to ruin that. So I had to go kill my kid. Yeah. Shut the fuck up, lady. Get out of here. All right. We're almost done. We're almost done. I want to talk about these CDL people out there, of how California and all these liberal states gave out these CDLs to people that can't even fucking speak the language of English, and they can't even read English. How are you going to give CDLs to people that don't know how to speak English and read English? Don't they have a bill of lading that they have to know what's in their truck when they're driving down the road? Don't they need to know what the signs say as they're driving down the road? Don't they need to pull up on the dock door and speak, 10 or less words to the person that they're driving to? Possibly. I get it. There's jobs where they go, I never said anything to nobody at my job. I did that for 10 years. Shut the fuck up. I get you, bud. You're a dickhead. All right. So just keep your comments to yourself. No, you have to learn how to speak the language. First of all, you're driving down the road with an 80,000 pound vehicle. Does anybody know what 80,000 pounds is? It's a lot. It's like a building on wheels going down the road. Okay. It's very heavy. All right. And if you don't know how to speak the language, you ain't doing this job. Go do something else. If you don't know how to read the language, go do something else. You're not doing this. All right. And if I seem insensitive, go ask all the truckers They flooded the market, man. Again, whether you like that they let in 10 to 14 million people during Joe Biden or not, that's for you to decide, and that's for me to decide my opinion, and you decide your opinion. But if you think you're going to let in 10 to 14 million people, and those 10 to 14 million people aren't going to take jobs, and then they wonder why all these young people are going, there's no jobs out there. I can't find a job. I've talked to a dude that grew up in New York, 23-year-old guy. He had to move here to Chicagoland to start working here because he goes, there's no jobs in New York. No jobs. And I get it. That sounds ridiculous because it sounded ridiculous when I heard it. But I heard it from his mouth in a regular conversation. It had nothing to do with nothing else besides I moved here because there was no jobs there and I couldn't make any money. And then I hear people out here talking. I live in the suburbs of Chicago, and there's people coming from Chicago to do Amazon jobs and warehouse jobs outside of Chicago, way out in the suburbs, because they go, there's no jobs in Chicago. Duh. You're living in sanctuary cities where they let in a lot of illegals. And again, that's up to you whether you like that idea or not. And it's up to me whether I like that idea or not with my opinion and your opinion. But when you let in all these illegals into your towns and in your countries, they're gonna take jobs, okay? They're gonna get jobs. And when people go, I can't find any jobs. And again, they go, well, they're doing jobs that people don't want. No, I don't think so. These Amazon jobs that they're letting in out here in Chicagoland, look, whether you like the number or not, I'm not saying it's great or not, but they're paying $22, $24, $25 an hour. You go to Chicago, you're not making $22, $24 an hour in Chicago. For some reason, in that sanctuary state, in that liberal haven, they're not paying their workers that good over there for some of these warehouses that they're doing out here. Okay, these forklift drivers out here. So you want to let in all these illegals. They're taking jobs. And they go, oh, they're not taking. Yes, they are. You can't let in 10 to 14 million people. They're the ones, they want to work. And there was a lot of men that came across, and women too. And I'm sure there's some non-binaries. I doubt it. And they're going to take jobs. So, so funny, man. So funny. And my whole theory on these CDL crashes, how you're seeing them. It might be the illegals that aren't speaking English. I just wonder also is if they're highlighting these truck crashes. Maybe they've always been around. Maybe there's more now. I don't know. I haven't looked up the stats. You can do that. But I just wonder if they're highlighting it more and more so that when they roll out the self-driving trucks, that that's their sell on it, where they go, well, you know what? These things don't crash as much as these. A lot of fatalities. It won't be no legal talk towards them or anything like that, just the fatalities. And people go, yeah. And that's the same thing with the Uber drivers. They're going to go, hey, don't be surprised, there's a lot of Uber accidents. They start highlighting and they go, look, these Waymo cars or whatever they call them, and these self-driving cars, there's no accidents in those. They're way lower. And people go, yeah. Guys, hey, thanks for listening, man. It's been a long time. Hopefully everybody's doing good over there. Hope your family's doing good. Hope you're putting titty nipples in your mouth. Hope you're grabbing ass and getting some pussy. And hope life is well, man. Guys, thanks for listening. All right.